What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark, MyMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm going to talk about Cobra Kai, Season 6, Episode 8. This is the episode where we just left with the devastating news that something has happened to Carmen, and Johnny and Miguel have to pull out of Zacatecas and fly back. So we pick up sort of where that leaves off, and they're flying back, and there's this real super douchey, like way overdone. It's a bit much. First class passenger. Um, and I kind of like assumed this whole sequence that Johnny was going to get into like this cool airplane fight, which was going to like ruin their chances of getting home to Carmen. But that wasn't the case. I was actually kind of surprised and pleasantly so by the restraint that Johnny showed, because it really helped his character growth. And I love the fact that Miguel is the one who actually ends up punching him. But and then like I love beyond that, I love the fact that everybody was like, oh well, it's Miguel, so we love him. And it's like, I love Miguel too. I hope he wins Zacatecas. Um so he so Johnny he seems to be like annoying Miguel at first, and they move him up, and then Johnny's trying to talk to Miguel, and eventually he he opens up, and it's like the most acting William Zabka's ever done in his career, where he cries a little bit. It's like that scene in Big Daddy where like Adam Sandler started to cry, and everybody's like, oh my god, he's crying on camera. Adam Sandler, he's getting emotional. I kind of remember that being like in movie reviews at the time. People were like, Adam Sandler cries. And it's like people were like blown away. They couldn't imagine. I was like, honestly, I didn't know he had this range. I like him as Johnny, but his character is very sort of like a thing, like a very much like this one note character. And to see him have emotional range was nice. Um he does the role very well, but he's never been expected to do more than just be this uh brutish jackass. Uh, but to see him actually open up to Miguel and to apologize to Miguel for, the confusing, of having both his son and Miguel there, and having, Miguel feeling like he's like, oh, I think of you, you're my son too. And Carmen, I don't know what I'd do without her. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. All of that stuff worked really well for me. Then they get there and they walk in and they run to the room. The nurse tells them what room it is. And they walk in and like the bed's like covered in blood. And they're like, oh my God, Carmen died. And I was like, the show does not have the balls to kill off Carmen. But, maybe they did. I don't know. But no, she comes in the room. Basically, she had like a C-section, so she lost a lot of blood in the thing. And I guess blood all over the bed. But her and the baby are fine. And Carmen tells them to go. She's like, no, you guys have Miguel has to win this competition. Like, you guys have to win this competition. Like, we're a karate family. And I was like, okay. So, but, so I guess they're heading back to Zacatecas, but there's a problem because while this was happening, Johnny talked to, her name always escapes me, Daniel's wife, who has a name. I realize, I'm sorry, she has a name. I don't know what it is. For in this moment, I don't anyway. And asks her if there's any way, and of course she's like, yeah, sure. And so she she just drops what she's doing and goes to Kenny's house and tries to get Kenny to go to Zacatecas, but he won't go because of the shitting the pants incident, and he thinks Anthony did it, and he's been turned into a meme, and he's like, why would I go? There's people who think I'm a joke, blah blah blah. So she goes and yells at Anthony, who didn't do it. We know he didn't do it. So Anthony goes over. She makes Anthony go apologize for something he didn't do, which he doesn't really do. And then they sort of end up fighting, which leads to Kenny getting this phone call at the same time Anthony's chugging, because he thinks the way that to make it up is for him to shit his pants. So because he's like, you know what? Even though I didn't do it, I did start the fight. I did pick on you. It's mine. I should be the one to end it. So Kenny sounds like he's like 25 now, by the way. Like every time I feel like we hear him, he's older than he was the last time. Like, we need to finish Cobra Kai before Kenny turns into like Morgan Freeman. Like he's aging rapidly. Like, she opened the door to Kenny, and Kenny's like, hello. Yeah, my name's Kenny. Yes, I am the same age as your son. Puberty has been kind to me. Like, um, so, yes, Kenny, I guess Kenny's gonna go. So Kenny and Miguel are both gonna go, which is kind of a clusterfuck. So the big question is who will drop out? Well, back at Sekatekai, we see the kids are going to go out and party, and not Devin though. Devin, her whole thing this episode was to just call. Her whole thing is a phone call. So I told you what Devin did. That's the beginning and end of that. Hawk and I refuse to call him Eli. I don't care. Hawk and Dimitri go out and party, and they are flirted with by girls, and Hawk is like, we have girlfriends, and Dimitri's like, when in Spain? So Dimitri gets up and dances, and Hawk doesn't, and Hawk then chooses to FaceTime Moon, who's there with Dimitri's girlfriend, who can clearly see Dimitri in the background, like dancing with another girl, who, and this sets off this huge, they've been butting heads this whole time, so obviously between now and the end of the show, they have to have a resolution with their friendship, to see, who, and again, this is the thing where it's like, you have these people who it's like, they have education, they're headed places. Dimitri's going to MIT, Miguel's going to Stanford, and then you have the contrast of that where Hawk is not going to college, and Robbie's not. So, I mean, like, there's that sort of battle between the boys, like the college bound and the not. So, speaking of Robbie, his whole thing is basically to just get drunk the whole episode and watch Tori be flirted with by the lead Sekatekai, which is, I kind of like, not Sekai, the Cobra Kai kid, Quan. And Quan knows what he's doing. He's purposely doing it to piss off Robbie. But Tori's smarter than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tori should know. So Tori should, like, I just wanted a second from Tori where she just, like, because Quan is, like, wrapping his arm around her, where she's, like, clearly like, no, get the fuck off of me. And then or she just realizes what's happening and just tells Robbie, you and I can talk after the tournament, but you just need to know this dude is not happening. And then just leave. So that Robbie's like, okay, well, I don't need to think about that. But I mean, I don't think it would throw off her fight at all to just say, I see what he's doing, and, don't, we're not broken up or whatever. I don't know what their status of the relationship is, but I think technically they're still dating. So, Tori also gives the girl from the other dojo, the third new dojo, the fire dragons or whatever they're called, 9 dragons, lava dragons, I don't know, gives them gives her like a little bit of a, you wait and see type of thing. I'll show you. And we see Samantha sees the guy, like the main guy, I don't even know if he has a name, from that, I think he said his name, but I don't remember it, from that was being abused by his coach from the third dojo. And they sort of have a moment, he's like, can I walk you back to your hotel? And then they go, and then they get attacked by Cobra Kai, and they're like, well, we can't be in this fight because we don't want to be kicked out of the tournament. So they run. And he tries to kiss her, but she's like, no, I have a boyfriend. So then he awkwardly just like leaves. But he also doesn't want to talk about like the abuse that is happening to him when he has these like giant marks on his back. And in the midst of it, all this happens like 30 minutes, by the way. In the midst of all of this, we have Daniel doesn't really do anything in this episode. They put it all finally on his the other what the fuck is his name? Anyway, and the two people, I can't think of their names, are like watching the teens. They're watching their various like Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai dojo because they have nothing else to do. These characters, they're in Spain, and then they have like a romantic connection, and then they see the guy with the Cobra Kai tattoo, which leads them because they think, that there's something's going on here. She even thinks that Kreese is not telling her everything, so she's willing to go down this rabbit hole, and they call their respective people. So basically, those two, Daniel and Kreese, all show up at the same place to see this guy with the Cobra Kai tattoo get paid off by the leader of the third dojo. And then we cut to, I don't even know where we were. I was trying to follow the audio description, but it felt like we went like somewhere nefarious, and then suddenly there's like a hot tub, and Silver's in a hot tub, and I'm just like, are we at a place where there would be a hot tub? I was kind of feeling like maybe there wouldn't be, but anyway, so he's just like in a hot tub, just chilling, smoking a cigar. He's like, "What's up? I'm back." So Silver's behind the third dojo, which honestly I didn't see coming. That was a twist for me, because I thought he was in prison, and we already had one prison escape from Kreese. So I'm kind of like I'm gonna bide my tongue a little bit because we can't have two people escape from prison. He needs to have bought his way or been pardoned or something like that. Like there needs to be somewhere, because he is like supposedly like stupid rich. So if there's a way for him to have bought his way out, or I don't know, an alternative way for him to have, we can't have two people who both broke out of jail. That's the dumbest thing. So my grades will precipitously drop if the thing Silver is about to say is, I was in jail and then I broke out, paid the guards and slipped out of jail. I'll be like, no, 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 no. The writer's room is better than this. You can find another way than just repeating Kreese's way out of jail. So yeah, that's Cobra Kai. Who do I think is going to leave, and why? Samantha's not leaving because that would be weird. I honestly I think Samantha's gonna be. I don't know why Samantha would not be in the movie, the Karate Kid movie. So I don't know why she would leave. She's actually Daniel's child, and like legacy wise, it feels weird for her to not be there. The same could be said for Robbie, who's also technically Johnny's kid. And it does feel like Robbie's thing is he's not performing up to standard. And I could see him giving the spot to Miguel. But at the same time, he also would need to, then he'd be out of the competition. But he's the one who is like, I have no future. So it doesn't really fit his arc. You could say Devin, but let's be honest, that leaves only one female on Miyagi-Do, which, I think that's the whole reason why she's there. This show has always had sort of like a lack of female characters, and to drop Devin, that was my biggest problem when they wrote off, because Samantha I forgot the name of her friend, like Aisha or something like that. She had another friend. Maybe I'm thinking of the Power Ranger. But she had another friend for like the first 2 seasons that just like dipped and just like they just wrote her off. And I'm like, no, you don't have enough characters. You need, damn it. So Devin was sort of like a replacement. Well, maybe we do need another female character on the show. So I don't know that Devin's going to. It feels like she would give up her spot for Kenny. That's the logical thing. Like, I didn't really earn this spot, it's yours. But then that just leaves Samantha. So honestly, I think something's going to happen with Hawk and Dimitri that's going to lead to one of them getting, literally being unable to compete. Actually being injured in some sort of fight that they have. So, and I think Hawk has already had a broken limb in the run of this thing, so it might be Dimitri. Anyway, it should be Dimitri, probably, when you're thinking about the fighters and who you really want to see advance. I feel like at the bottom, the ones that we know are not going to win are Dimitri and Devin. Like they're not advancing. They're not. Hawk has previously done well in tournaments, so he will probably advance a little bit, or he'll have a good fight. But this is not his show to win. This is not it, like standing at the end is going to be some amalgamation of, Miguel, Robbie, Samantha, and Tori. And the question is, which two of those four? So, and it's not going to be Kenny either. Kenny's going to come back and he's going to prove people wrong, and he's going to show up at the right time, kick some butt, I'm sure, earn some status and some clout, but he's not going to win. So we'll see. But my bet right now would be that something happens between Hawk and Dimitri, and one of them gets either disqualified or kicked out, or Devin, or they say, well, you know what, we can have one girl, and Devin gives up her spot, which makes logical sense. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm going to give this episode a B+. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite Cobra Kai episode, but thanks for watching, and I'll be back with another episode. Until then, see you guys on the other side.